Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beginnings, the show that asks, where do creative people come from? My name is Andy. I'm the host of the show and a writer and performer based in Los Angeles, California. How is everyone doing? We're back from 2-week break. I didn't think I would do that. I thought I would just take off for Christmas. Not that I celebrate, but, you know, who wants to promote a podcast when everyone is opening up their presents and digging through their stockings, or whatever Christians do? And then, honestly, it was raining here in Los Angeles for all of New Year's and days afterwards, and I'm like, I'll keep taking a break. So yeah, how was your New Year's? How is the new year going for you? Well, right, things are great. I know. You think I'm going to just talk about, for the next 20 to 30 minutes before we get to the episode, just talk about how the United States is fully transformed into a white supremacist dream, a Hitlerian Nazi gangster state. But no, we are going to talk about that Stranger Things finale. Anyway, good episode today. I've wanted to talk to this person for a while. And who is that? Why, it's Kassie Carlson. If you don't know who Kassie is, I'm going to read you her bio right now. Originally from Cape Cod, musician Kassie Carlson began performing in an early incarnation of Guerilla Toss after her hardcore band Western Syndrome played a show with them in 2012. They released their first EP, Jeffrey Johnson, later that year on Feeding Tube Records, and since then they've released over a dozen more albums and EPs on labels like Sodic, DFA, and Sub Pop. This is a very odd way to enunciate Sub Pop. Just last September, they released their 6th album, You're Weird Now, on Sub Pop, and folks, it's a delight. I've been listening to Guerilla Toss for years and years now, and sometime in, I think, November, Kassie sat down with me over Zoom, and we got into it. A lot of class politics, we talked about more nuts and bolts songwriting technique than I usually do on the show. But I'm always willing to go on that journey if it's interesting, and Kassie's an interesting person, an interesting songwriter, so it was a worthwhile discussion. Anyway, Kassie's cool. I hope you like this episode. Coming up on the show, a lot of great episodes. I'll just highlight this one coming up in a couple weeks. Stephen Brown from Tuxedo Moon, old school post-punk art rock band starting in the 70s from San Francisco. We talk a lot about that scene there and the art and politics of the time. Super interesting stuff. So stay tuned for that and for the 16th anniversary coming up in a couple weeks. But for now, let's talk to Kassie.
Like one time I was on a podcast and somebody was like, have you ever been on tour before? And I was like, what?
Sorry, wait. Well, okay, wait. Just like expanding my empathy brain for a second. I'm curious, did they just not know anything about you? Or do you think their brain kind of just like short-circuited? Or like, what do you think what the deal was?
I think they were really stoned, but they were really nice. And like, I wasn't mad even. I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. But whatever.
Yeah, it's a weird question. I only say that because one time, so I was in college, famously up until I got into therapy, was like, brain did not connect to mouth very well. And the way I thought, I just couldn't articulate anything like very well. And I was the promotions director at my college radio station. Mm-hmm. And I helped try to get bands to come to do like this is WPTS 92.1 FM at the University of Pittsburgh. I was try to get bands to come in and do like in studio interviews or like play on the air, whatever. Right. And I saw Pavement and I was like, this would be great. Love Pavement. Yeah. And it was outside after a show at the Trocadero in Philadelphia, which I don't think exists anymore. I'm sure. Have you ever played there? Mm-mm. Has it existed in the expanse of your musical career? I'm very old, so.
Yeah, I haven't played there, no.
But you know it exists, question mark?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, I'm not that. Okay, so I'm not that old. I'm not like.
You're not.
Instead of just like a normal human being would have just been like first of all, probably figured out how to talk to a manager or something like that now, which I
Yeah.
understand. But just like a dumb college kid that I was,
Yeah.
I thought, oh, we're outside after the show. They're very nicely answering questions and signing things for people. But
Yeah.
instead of just saying something normal like, hey, you know, I do this thing at the radio station. When you guys are in Pittsburgh, I was wondering, you know, is there a number of someone I can contact or email address?
Yeah.
And we can maybe, that's what a normal human adult would do. Dummy.
Right.
I go to Steve Malmquist. I go, would you ever play on college radio? So I tell that only say like, oh, maybe this person maybe like they couldn't articulate the thing they wanted to say, which was probably like, not a great
Just
question.
trying to like make some sort of like small talk or something like that. Yeah, something.
Something.
I think he was stoned, which is also cool and like endearing, and like he was probably anxious, so he got stoned. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. I mean, look, I will
That
say
made it
this.
worse.
Yes, of course. It doesn't help you
It
as
always
the
makes
person
it
on the,
worse.
because Steve looked at me and just went to the next person, like looked over to the next person.
Oh, I feel like he would like that.
Did not
Maybe
in the
he's just
moment.
overwhelmed.
In I guess 1998 or so, did not was not
Wow. That's
not
cool.
thrilled with that as a question after playing a 90-minute show.
Wow.
So yes. So wait, how did we get on this? There's a empathy something.
Oh, just like, you know, blurting random things out, like getting nervous.
You said, but I mean, you seem like a very personable person. You seem very.
Thank you.
Like my problems were never your problems.
Me, of course they were. Everyone's problems are everyone's problems. I mean, I'm super nervous. Yeah. And awkward. I don't know.
You don't seem it though.
Really? Mm-hmm. Strange.
Well, here's the question: Is it something you have learned to either repress? I guess repressing things you don't like. I guess you just learn how to not do them, or you become a different person.
It's a Zen thing. It's like, you know, you're like accepting these things, and kind of like, you know, when you're on stage and, you know, you got to sing in front of a lot of different people and like not mess up, you know, and like, it's just part of that whole like Zen thing, I think. And I think I spent a long time trying to figure out like how to do that. And also, you know, I kind of grew up in like kind of a intense household where I was managing a lot of people's emotions. So I think I'm like, maybe I'm internally freaking out, but I'm not going to show it. You know, I'm like, okay, what's next?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. You were the person who was the concierge.
I'm the peacekeeper. Yes. I'm the helper. I'm the peacekeeper. I'm the let's go. Yes.
The person who has to grow up way earlier than all of their friends.
Yes.
Because they're parenting the parents, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I mean, I always, because my brain is the way my brain is, focus on the negative things. But do you think there was anything positive that came out of having to take that role in your household?
Of course, it's like strength. It's like, you know, doing things for yourself, being an independent, like all kinds of good things come out of that, I think. Yeah, definitely. Makes you stronger. Makes you like have superpowers. It's very cool.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying in terms of like
once you process it.
Well, sure, yeah. Once
you're
an adult, therapy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
When you use it for good, no.
But that's what I'm saying. I wonder if your compass is different than mine, where you're like, oh yeah, I'm kind of awkward. Like your awkward is probably pretty like normal, whereas like my awkward is just like, what's wrong with that guy?
That's funny. It's a funny way to put it.
But like, because we all internally think about like, we all internally think we're weird. Like all human beings like probably are just like,
of course.
That you're like, you're awkward.
And if you don't, then that's like also messed up. Like you're like, no, I'm great. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me.
Right. Then you're a narcissist. So you've got like,
you're no good.
Yeah. You've got like all the people, the normal people who internally think there's something wrong with them. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the narcissist, like the genuine narcissists who are just like, or who this is the thing I think about narcissists. Maybe you have a thought, but the narcissists that I know, or the ones that I see on TV, which there are plenty of, both
In
in
politics.
and entertainment,
Insane.
then tend to project. They know that there's something. They know there's something that they're doing something that other people disapprove of. And then they project that onto everyone else because they just assume that everyone thinks like them.
Yeah, I see. I hear that.
I don't know if that, yes. Did I articulate that? I've been up for, sleep is very elusive these days. So,
I mean, I'm just thinking about Trump and like the SNAP benefits thing is like really, it's really disturbing to me. It's like really like,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been disturbed this entire year. This year has been felt very. I'm searching for an adjective that truly describes just how bereft I have felt. I think the thing for me was when the transition between this being like, oh well, maybe we can kind of like fix some of the stuff that's going on, into, oh no, this is like full-blown fascism, was like maybe a month or two ago when they designated trans people as like what was it, like violent nihilistic something or other. There was some kind of thing where they were starting to like where they were like, we're going to categorize all trans people as this, and that's where I'm just like, oh okay, so we're doing the Nazi thing.
yeah.
Oh, okay, so we're not necessarily voting our way out of this one.
Yeah.
If that was even an option. I mean, I'm pretty far left, so.
Yeah, I recently had dinner with a relative who was in the NSA and his other colleague who was also in the NSA. I was out to dinner because we were both in the same place and I like my relative and stuff like that. But that one thing she said to me, she was like, we were like waiting for food and I was actually recovering from food poisoning. So I was actually like very hungry, but also felt like really tripped out and like weird. Because I like hadn't eaten really for like 5 days. And she was like, you're so calm, which is something people say to me a lot. And I don't know why. I don't know why they say that. Like, you're so calm. And she was like, why is that? And I was like, oh, I worked very hard to be this way. And, but really in my head, she was like talking and talking. And I was thinking about like, just like how like they're in DC and they were in the NSA and they probably have connections to all these people. And like they were just like talking, and then all of a sudden I like blurted out. I was like, "So like, what's the plan with Trump? Like, what's like the plan? Like, is there like, what are we gonna do? Like?" And they were like, "Oh well, he's like getting older." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "So that's the plan? We're just gonna like wait and see?" And I was like, "Okay, Cassie, calm down." But I was just like, "Wow, you know." It's just crazy because the SNAP benefits thing is just like, that's like something that's like, I mean, it's all really, really bad, but it's just like, my mom and we were on SNAP like my whole life. Like I had free lunches and like the food pantry and like the stupid like white government boxes they give you of like cornflakes and powdered milk and like the peanut butter, all that like that tastes like sand, like, but it's like food. So you eat it, but it's just like, I mean, $200 a month for a family, like, isn't even enough anyways. But then you're going to take that away too. It's just like, it's very disturbing. I mean, I live upstate New York, which I think is a different scenario than people who live in the city. I think there's more stuff in the city. But I think in my particular county, it's like I was like, oh, where are the food pantries around here? Like, maybe I can do something to help. Like, maybe I can have some sort of event, like where I work. And like, and I was like looking at it and like the food pantries are only open the third Thursday of every month. It's just it's just
one day a month.
Yeah. It's just like that kind of like just how Trump doesn't even know about anything that's going on. Like doesn't understand what it's like to be a regular person, like at all, Yeah,
no. He's entirely, I worked for someone that is just like Trump. I had a temp job in New York for a year.
Yeah.
And I got like a close up of someone who has like that kind of diseased mind who only cares about themselves and fulfilling their own wants and desires at the expense. I don't even think they think of it at the expense of other people. Like literally 42 million people are going hungry.
That's crazy.
And it doesn't even focus. There was a picture today of someone collapsed in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Trump's just standing there while people are attending to him. Like, if someone collapses in front of you, you go over and you check to see, obviously if like there's a doctor or there's someone who knows CPR or, a professional who's like tending to them, you don't get up in their face, but you go near to see if they're
right.
okay.
Like, what's going on? Hold on. I think my cat's causing a scene.
Yeah, sure. So it was the dog.
Okay, so the dog and the cat were both breaking into the treat bag together.
Kassie, one time, years and years ago, two cats, brothers, my wife and I come out of the bedroom in the morning to find catnip everywhere. They had figured out how to get into the cabinet that had the catnip in it and then ripped through the bag and just spread it all over the entire living room. Yeah. Oh, they were high as fuck. Yeah. Oh, they were just luxuriating. Like in like some kind of like movie, like some drug movie where like I guess they have like
it's like cocaine
weed everywhere. Oh yes, or like Blow with Johnny Depp with very cool normal guy Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah, totally.
Where he's got that mountain of cocaine. Yeah. So wait, narcissist. Oh yes. So this woman that I worked for, she was just this creature of whims. She wasn't very smart. And I don't know if that was just like her brain, which is fine. Like I'm not judging you on that, or if I'm just pretty sure she was just an incurious person, and so never wanted to investigate anything, wasn't smart, and thought that because of her wealth, that she was the smartest. And just like whatever whim was in front of her face, she would just follow it. Mm-hmm. Did you ever see Casino, the Scorsese film?
Yeah, of course.
This has become my go-to example of what these people are like.
Yeah.
There's that scene where like he's eating the muffin, where De Niro's eating a blueberry muffin at the casino he's running, and he goes in to yell at the chef about how there needs to be an equal amount of blueberries in every single muffin. And the chef is like, that's impossible to do. But because he runs the casino, he can fire this guy if he wants to. The chef now has to follow this insane person's whims.
Right. Yes.
Because they have power over him.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Well, that's modern life.
I think that like wealthy, really, really wealthy people, like they're like in their own personal bubble. And I think that I feel like an alien, but I'm so freaking glad that I don't feel like an alien in that way. You know, like I'm grateful that it's like more of like I feel weird about myself instead of like I'm like harming people and I don't realize it. You know?
Yeah. Well, tell me about Cape Cod, because I was reading, and I in my mind, Cape Cod. I think of Cape Cod. Here. Let me preface this by saying I don't know anything about Cape Cod, but I would think it was like a wealthy place because that's in my head. Like, there's like a guy, a Monopoly man type guy, like eating lobster.
Yeah. Sometimes people say, "Oh, people actually live there," and I'm like, "Yeah, they live there." Yeah.
I'm not that dumb.
No, of course not. No, of course. But I mean, it's a lot of vacation like homes. And then, of course, there's the people who clean the vacation homes. And that was kind of my mom and I. So like we like probably from like 9 or 10, I was like cleaning houses with her, like these summer cottages like down by the beach. Which I don't know. I didn't think of it. I was just like, oh, this is what mom and I are doing, and sometimes I'd like find cool shit that like other kids would like leave behind. Like one time I found like one of those Princess Diana Beanie Babies.
Oh.
And I was like, yes, but my mom and I, we weren't super wealthy. She was like a single mom. We like got kicked out of places a lot of the times that we were renting because of non-payment or, just general like disarray of things. My mom's a hoarder.
Like for real, or you just mean that like as a kind of like
no, for real, like up to the ceiling pathways everywhere. I don't like that term. I think it's like really derogatory. I wish there was a collector maybe or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
You
is it
know?
pathological? Like, is it interfering in her life?
Oh my God, definitely. I mean,
Oh,
we would just like get kicked out of these rentals just because it was just like so it would get grow and grow, and then it would move another place, and then it would grow and grow. Um, but she did try her best. She really,
yeah,
you know,
sure. Of course.
yeah. It's just a thing like people don't know much about. I think and they don't really know. It's like very stigmatized and um yeah, she had a hard time keeping a job too. Like she'd get fired a lot. And but yeah, we did the house cleaning and my grandparents also lived on Cape Cod full time. So, sometimes I'd stay with them and they were all really into music. So that's kind of how I got into music. And I started playing violin at the age of 5, but I was also singing with the family. The family had like this kind of like, you know, Christian band or whatever. Like my grandma would play piano and then we'd all like harmonize and stuff like that. And I'd play my little violin and like would be on the like church radio and like I don't know. I was like,
Wait, sorry, hold on. Okay.
yeah.
There's a lot here, especially like church radio. Like there was like a church radio station, or it was like a thing where you would just
No.
go to the church and there was like a recording studio or something like that.
No, like behind the organ, there was like a guy with like, I don't even know how it works, but I distinctly remember that next to the organ, like the big giant organ that you press with the feet too, which I loved, I thought was so freaking cool, was this guy and he like had like a cassette set up or something and it was like recording the service basically. And then they'd give it to the radio station. It wasn't like the church's radio station. It was just like on the radio. Like streaming not streaming, playing the cassette at the radio station or something. It was so weird.
AM? Like what? I'm just so curious about like
FM.
what FM? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so for real.
Because I have one of the cassettes somewhere.
Put that out. Put that on Bandcamp.
That would be sick. Yeah.
Okay. Christian. Like how religious are we talking? I mean, obviously like you're
Not
going to
like-
church, you're playing on the church radio, but
Not like spooky, like snakes or like damnation, but
uh-huh.
I definitely like went to church like multiple times a week. And I think it was because like my grandparents thought they were doing their best.
Sure.
Yeah. It was like after school youth group and like, Saturday church.
Yeah.
Or like,
Is the focus faith or is the focus kind of like, so it's not Pentecostal, right? It's not like
not
that.
Pentecostal. It wasn't like one of our ministers was like a lesbian. So it's not like, not like
Oh, so progressive.
super. It was progressive. Yeah. In some ways.
Okay. What ways was it progressive and what ways was it not so progressive?
Just, I don't know. Just in the way that like the Bible is like not progressive.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean this is the thing that like drives me absolutely insane about the modern world, which is the rise of Christian fascism, where I'm just like, you're not reading the thing that you're supposed to believe
It's
in.
so weird. I mean, it's just there's so many contradictions in the Bible. It's just like, how could you even like say this is like the thing you live by? There's like a million contradictions in there. And Revelations is just some guy tripping on mushrooms. So like, I don't really know what to say, But
Man.
I think there was like my grandparents wanted us to go because it was like, treat others like you would like to be treated, like that kind of like
Yeah,
the
the good
morals,
parts.
like yeah. So like stuff like that. And it was like a musical thing. Like it was like you can sing in the youth chorus and then you can sing with us and then you can do solos and then we can all do music and music is great. Don't you love music?
Was it really said like that with that kind of like culty type of like, we're going to do music
No.
now?
No, it's just like what they thought was best. I also got to ring the bell sometimes, which was pretty cool.
The church had a bell tower. Sorry,
Well-
I'm Jewish, so like
Yeah.
it's very, we don't have all the like bells and whistles.
It was sick. It was just like some small room where there's like a giant thick rope hanging from the ceiling. And you pull the rope and the bell rings and it lifts you up to the ceiling and then you pull it down. And it's like very, very fun for a kid.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So you're painting a great picture. A lot of when I talk to people who grew up in a pretty religious context, not a lot of smiling going on. Not a lot of like
Yeah.
good memories of like bell ringing and playing on the radio. So this
Yeah.
is a breath of fresh air, I have to say.
Yeah, they're just trying to do their best. I mean, there was a lot of dark things happening in the family, so they were like, just like, this is the good thing to do, and just go to church, and everyone will be all right, you know.
Yeah.
Just I think a lot of people in that generation, you know, the 50s, you know, thought that was the way to go.
How far back does your family go there on Cape Cod? So your grandparents are there. Are
Oh,
they
not far. I mean, they were from Pennsylvania before. I'm not sure why they moved to Cape Cod.
We're in Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania.
My mom was born in Levittown,
Yes.
and my grandparents were from Clearfield, Pennsylvania.
I'm gonna smile and pretend like I know.
We stopped at a gas station once in Clearfield, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is where my grandparents are from." And everyone was like, "There's nothing here," you know?
Yeah, that's Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's a wonderful place to grow up.
yeah,
Won't ever knock it, but
Yeah.
a very low ceiling if you have any kind of ambition.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, "What do you mean? Just work at the bank, the local bank."
Honestly, that was a suggestion even when I was living in New York, where
Really?
I had what I thought was a temp job, what was in the eyes of my employers was a career path
Yeah.
at NYU's development department, which was, where they collected donations for the school from people. And the one time my boss like pulled me aside and she's like, so she was trying to like groom me into like being her successor for whatever this for like, you would go out and you would talk to like rich old NYU alumni and try to get them to like put
Oh,
NYU in their
donations.
will. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Wow.
And she told me the story about like, because I had just been like starting like doing comedy in New York.
Yeah.
And she like told me, it was like one of those things where when I see it in a movie, I'm just like, do people really do this? And I guess they do. They tell you a fable and then they hope you apply that to your life. Like she told me a story about how she had a friend who was a banker, wanted to be
Yeah.
an actor, but became a banker and worked their way up at Goldman Sachs or some shit like that. And then they got to do like community theater on the weekends.
Oh.
Andy? Get it?
Yeah, that's her bubble, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
In college, I had a job as a for Boston Symphony Orchestra, basically telemarketing, but I would call these like people who had like been to the symphony or been going like their entire life and try to get them to donate money. But it just ended up like, I feel like it set up this whole like, maybe I was doing it before, but it was just like being on the phone like with somebody you don't know and like they're lonely and you need to stay on the phone with them. So you just like start talking and you like talk to them. Like I would talk to these people for so long in my little tiny cubicle. And like my friend worked there with me too, and he would do the same. And we would just like look at each other because we'd like be on the phone for like so long. And sometimes they talk about music, but mainly they're just like talking about their life or like something like that.
Was that part enjoyable? Like, did you actually like,
It's
was
just
it interesting?
It's just interesting, yeah. And now I'm a bartender, and I kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I was going to say, like,
Yeah.
I've never talked to a bartender. I always either, if I'm alone, not that I go to a bar much anymore because I'm
Yeah.
ancient, but like,
Yeah.
if I was alone, I would bring a book, but that's like a TV show. In my mind, that's a TV show. The bartender, like they're wiping the bar and they're like, so what's troubling you, buddy?
Yeah. I mean, and it's not even, I kind of liked it because it was like not even them asking anything about me. Like, I don't like to talk about myself, but it was like, it's just like them telling me things. And I'm like, and like, it's like sometimes people like regulars will like tell me the same like epic story like multiple times. And I'm like, yeah, you already told me that you were gay, and I said that was wonderful. It's like, or like just like something like, profound that they want to say, but they just like are saying it in like this different way, or like thought they didn't tell me before. But I don't know. I think people are very interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like related to Guerilla Toss music in some kind of like strange way. Like a lot of the lyrics are like written like after like doing some sort of like observation like period of like watching people.
Uh-huh. Okay. I can see that.
Yeah. And like just like writing about it, or like even the performance itself. Like um, sometimes I'll do like before the show, I'll take like like a couple hour walk, like just walk around the city and like see what it's all about. Just like watching people, and like how they exist like in their environment, whether it be, like unhoused people or just, people coming home from work in the office or like, just like I'll just like sit in a restaurant and like kind of like I don't know. And part of that like goes into the performance. I don't know if that's ever like evident, but like it is it's like a fact finding like mission, to like yeah.
Okay, well, I have to ask. This is the thing that I'm always curious about. How conscious is this? How much of this is a conscious creative choice? Oh, this is what I want to write about, or this is the vibe I want to feel in order to perform in a certain way. And how much of that is just naturally like kind of like you being a nexus for reality going through your brain and then coming out in a certain way?
It's not really conscious. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna write about a crazy person today. Like I'm just, or like I'm gonna write about the suits down on Wall Street. Like it's kind of like you're just kind of meandering about in your mind, and sometimes it's not great to be there, but you gotta kind of go there and start to get comfortable with it. But sometimes you want to not be in your own personal mind. You want to see what maybe other people are up to, and that, it's like hearing other people's stories is good, and writing about them and listening, and maybe possibly applying some of that to your own life and your own questions. Because ultimately we are all humans.
Even the bad ones, even the evil ones.
We're all humans, yeah.
Is that, I mean, this is too pat to say that it's a direct thing, but do you think it is just like you said, where you're like, I need to get out of my own thinking, and so I will jump into, and again, not consciously, but you just like start, the way, like if I'm writing a character, I'm trying to finish this stupid script I've just been working on forever. And just putting my mind into like the two main characters are two women in their 50s to 70s. And so it takes, you have to kind of like, all right, what is this like born? And then I have to think about like when they were born and like, so what would their references be and all this other kind of stuff. And it's the supreme act of like, just like absolutely as much as possible getting out of your own brain into this other person. And then, and the byproduct is, yes, then whatever my anxieties and neurotic kind of thoughts are kind of like pushed to the side as I'm doing this.
I mean, you're like, I don't know, I guess it's kind of like just performing is like kind of like a meditation in a way, because you're singing and feeling the vibrations in your mouth. And like, I guess from like watching people, I'm kind of like testing out how they would walk or how they would move, or, the anger that I saw, or like the depression that I saw earlier. Like how does that person exhibit that?
Yeah. I mean, that has to come from like not only just this kind of like, I want to get out of my own brain, but also like, I would think a deep curiosity about human beings.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So does that have an origin in your childhood? Like when you were a kid, were you also curious about people, or is this just something that's kind of like, as you've lived your life, you become more interested in like how other humans work?
Yeah, I think I'm just like, I was always super hyper vigilant, which I'm trying to like tone down in my older life, like, oh, okay, I don't know, that vibe is weird over there. Like, how can I help them? Should I go away? Should I, should I make them tea? Should I feed them? What do they need? Like, or like, I can tell my mom's getting like agitated, like shit, like I gotta fix this, or like, yeah, I don't know, that kind of thing. So I think that kind of like hypervigilance.
Right. A hypervigilance from having to kind of be like, as you said, or as I said this about the way you described it, but like kind of parenting when you were a kid, but also like there's a kind of
prediction and like, running some sort of like offense, or like,
like very, very,
nipping
very
it in the butt.
Al-Anon type stuff where you have to kind of like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally, totally. Yeah. As someone who had to deal with that early on, you started to get attuned to other people very early on to like figure
Hmm.
out that stuff because then you could kind of cut it off at the pass.
Yeah, which is dangerous because then you're like, I know what other people think. And it's like, you don't.
Right.
You don't. Nor do you need to, or like, you don't need to try to like, fix it or, you know, because you're in here and like you're a nice little warm body, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, it must be so interesting, like kind of like creating this kind of like character because you're like, are you like, I'm gonna put myself in this woman's skin now, like, and try to figure out like what she would feel like, or do you like hang out with other people like of that age and like try to like ask them questions or?
Well, I know people who are, I have friends who are older, certainly. And I have parents who are of that age and my parents' friends. I think it's more that I start with the emotion,
Yeah,
right? Whatever the emotion is that that person is feeling. And then I have to calibrate what they might say based on who they are as a person. But I think it starts more with the emotion since that is fairly, as long as I'm not writing someone who is a narcissist or something like that,
yeah,
right? All of it should be fairly the same regardless of how old you are. And then it just gets filtered through a bunch of different things.
yeah. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's how I
So
work at least.
yeah, it's a medium I've never really like thought about trying to create in, but it's very interesting.
I don't think it's so different from writing. I don't think lyric writing or script writing. And I think it all has similar, very analogous types of mechanisms if you are not writing from your own point of view. Like, I never really understood. So I always thought that songwriting, I don't write songs very often anymore, but when I do, it's always from inside my brain. I never get
Mhm.
into another person's. And I don't think I understood, like, when my dad would play, like, Bob Dylan or something like that. It never, at least the songs that I don't know, was there something about, like, Aunt Maggie's Farm or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, that's not him, right? Or, like, I just watched, do you ever see Inside Llewyn Davis, the Coen
No.
Brothers film?
No.
It's about a folk singer that's in 1961,
Hmm.
and he's just like he's just missed. He's not old enough to like be part of like the old generation of folk singers, but he's not like he's on the cusp of this new like the new kind of folk scene going on in the village in New York. And he's
Yeah.
just stuck in between these two things and he's not there yet. And he's still kind of singing old songs, but he's got the like emotion and voice that will happen in the 60s in New York. And he's not succeeding. He's just failing because he's in this kind of like middle period between these two things.
Hmm.
And he's singing these songs from a like deep emotional place, but they're about like, I don't know, ships or like old folk song type stuff. And it's just like,
Ships.
yeah, it's not maybe in a couple years if he like tries to like figure out who he is as a person and as the paradigm changes, maybe. But that's
Mhm.
not the movie. The movie ends with him still kind of a failure.
Classic Coen brothers.
Cla-
Just like
Absolutely classic.
yeah, just like the guy, someone's suffering in the end, they're insufferable or still suffering. Or both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
No, they're great though.
One of my favorites.
So great.
But here's the thing that I'm curious about.
Mhm.
I get the fact that that this ability of yours develops kind of based on how you have to be as a child. When do you start kind of like, are you a therapy person? Like, when do you start, you've talked about like, oh, well, if you let it get too far, it gets bad. Like you start thinking, you're like, oh, I know what other people want, right?
Mhm.
That kind of stuff. Was therapy helpful to like, kind of like figure that stuff
Yeah,
out?
the past 2 years, I actually started paying for a therapist, even like not getting the free one, just because I'm like, it's so important. And I got to break through all this stuff that's like holding me back. But she's like a trauma therapist, childhood trauma therapist. And she's like so smart. And like, yeah, she's great. But yeah, I guess like the therapy-esque thing started to happen like because I used to do heroin. Do you know that about me?
Yes.
For like many, many years. So like when I went to rehab, that was kind of where I started to like learn about the possibility of like mindfulness and kind of that kind of thing. And also my grandmother, not the one that I stayed with a lot, but on my father's side, was really into Buddhism and hypnotism, and she was a Reiki healer and like a past life regression chiller, whatever. I don't know. And I don't know. Some of it's kind of sus, but like, she had some good points, and like, just like reading about Buddhism and that kind of thing. It's all very helpful. You take it with a grain of salt. You don't have to like totally drink the Kool-Aid, but I think that it's helpful for all aspects of your life, including recovery and performing.
Hmm.
Yeah, and getting over that kind of like stage fright.
What do you mean by stage fright?
Like stage fright of like, releasing music, writing truthful lyrics, about yourself that are like intelligible and, possibly that other people can relate to, feeling confident enough to like release something or like get on stage or tour around the country, that kind of thing.
That's interesting. So what's the impulse? I've always been curious about this. What is the impulse in you to want to make something, yet there's also this other impulse where you're like, well, I don't want to, like to me, it's like, seems like there's this like yearning for a connection, but also like a fear of that connection, I guess.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, I feel like that's related to because Guerilla has released so many albums, and in the beginning, I was like, I didn't want. I was like very anti like hook, very anti like lyrical content that people can really understand. I was like very, very anti that. I like wanted it to be noisy, loud, aggressive, like kind of like in your face. But then as like time went on, I just like wanted to kind of like be true to myself and try something different. So that's why like, people are always like, oh, I like the first album. It's just like something people say, but it's not really a big deal. But it's kind of like, it's like if I were to just create the same album, like the same kind of like vibe for the rest of my life, that wouldn't be very honest.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, they wouldn't really want that.
I don't really want that. That's like annoying. Like, just listen to the album again you like. Good for you. But like I feel like this like new Cassie now, if she listened to like CEO of Personal and Pleasure, I would be like, oh my God, that sounds ridiculous. Why? That's like so not punk or whatever. But it kind of is punk in a way because it's like I've like punked myself, in the sense that like it's so avant-garde for old Cassie to do this kind of like hook driven singing.
You brought this. See, this is the thing. You brought it up. So I am curious. It feels like you are somehow trying to justify your, I don't want to say evolution as a human, because I don't mean to, that implies something about like who you were before, but just this like
I don't
emotional
think I need to
opening up.
it. Yeah, I don't think I need to justify it. I think it's
I don't think you I don't think you do either.
I think it's a very, very good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
To be like creating different things and trying new things and seeing where it goes and growing like as a person and a musician,
Yeah.
It's a cycle of life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here's something though that I'm curious about. The way you grow up, right?
Yeah.
You said that it seems very tumultuous the way you described it, right? You're constantly having to move to different places. Your mom is collecting things. Is that like a form of OCD, by the way, just as a side note?
I think so. I think it's like something related to childhood trauma of like kind of want to keep everything, even though it has no kind of like value, but there is a perceived value to the person, like I have this thing that someone else might need someday too, which is actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
But until it's not, until it's like harming your, yeah.
Did you understand that when you were a kid? Like what was going on? Or was it just like, this is happening around me and I have no idea why?
I didn't really, I mean, my mom was like up and down a lot, like emotionally too. So there'd be like, weeks of her just in bed and then she'd be like off, so it's like that kind of thing. And I don't think she knew either. I mean, I think she like the idea of like mental health or like therapy was like, oh, you don't want to do that. Like, then you'll be labeled like something, you know. But it was just like, I don't know. It's like, what was I talking about? I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I was just asking if you understood what was happening, but I mean, it's exact. I understand
I don't know. I don't think so. I just thought that was the way it was, you know?
Yeah.
My father wasn't around. He died maybe when I was like 16 from, it's unclear really what, just because he was like kind of passed away for so long, but it was mostly likely drugs. Yeah. But
was he in your life at all prior to that?
not really. Yeah. Just in the early days.
So it's just you and your mom. There's undiagnosed mental illness. You're trying to like figure out what's going on.
Right.
It's a lot. I mean, that's just so much. Any one of those things is a lot for an adult, let alone a child. And the thing that like I'm trying to figure out is like, how do your like wants and desires form? Because it seems so tumultuous. And it seems like you're the one who's holding things kind of together a bit. Like, how do you figure out what you want as a life path?
I don't know. I feel like I didn't really develop any sort of like true identity until I was like left home and I started to try things out. But I think that I found some kind of like peace within practicing, you know, like practicing the violin, you know, where it's just kind of like you're in this zone and you're just like in a practice room at the school and you're just like kind of like going at it, or like you're at home in your room and you're practicing. There's like just this kind of peace where it's like you're just looking at the sheet music, you know, right? And the same way with like kind of like listening to music on headphones, you know, like I feel like in school, like I was just like that headphone girl where I was just like blasting like music in my head like all the time, you know, and that's kind of like a, you know, like a peaceful thing too.
Did you think it was like kind of this is almost like a destiny? And I mean, that's just because like you had been singing in church, you know, all this other playing the violin, like, oh, this is just what's going to happen. Or were you making choices where you're like, oh, I'd like to try to do this for real, make music for real, write my own songs?
I don't know. I mean, I always kind of like came up with like random stuff like in my Casio, but like my brother, Jonah, I have two half brothers. They're a lot older than me, but my brother was in a band in the 90s, Only Living Witness. And I had like one of his like cassette tapes and I just would like listen to it. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, you know, the lyrics that like, you know, 8-year-old me like thought I understood or whatever, you know, but I like probably didn't at the time, you know, but I just thought he was so cool. So yeah, I wanted to be in like that kind of like band thing too, but I didn't really like know how. Like I didn't know like the pathway to that.
Were there other things? Was there like anything you wanted to do?
I think I just wanted to do music and I wanted to like, I don't know. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I guess, I don't know. I just like played violin. I like listened to music. I don't know. I just like liked music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you weren't like, oh, you know, if I had my druthers, I would go and become an architect or whatever.
No, that didn't really like cross my mind. I guess as a kid, I like really liked dinosaurs and I wanted to be a paleontologist, but I don't know, you know, or like I like the stars like in elementary school and I wanted to be an astronomer, but I don't know. I just kind of figured, I don't know. I don't know what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out like when was the moment or when was the kind of maybe you just found yourself in it and then you were like, oh, I guess this is it, where you're just like, oh, this is something that's like meaningful to me and I'd like to do this as long as I can or as long as it feels right.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I just always went to shows in Cape Cod. There was like a pretty healthy kind of emo, screamo, hardcore, some folky stuff too. So my friends and I went to a lot of shows. That was just kind of like what we did. We just like went to shows and like we listened to music and we drove around and we smoked weed and like that was kind of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like the suburbs.
That's
sounds
it.
like, yeah, you drive around.
We went to the beach at night, you know, and like,
oh, that's nice.
you know, fishing, like drinking, smoking weed.
Like fishing? Like you really would like, you get the rod and the lure and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a fire on the beach.
Feels like a TV show to me.
Get some bluefish.
Really?
Bluefish. Yeah,
catch a fish and then skin
fillet
and
it.
gut it right there. And
Yeah, and you put it in tin foil with butter, mayonnaise, a couple Ritz crackers on the top, crushed.
see, I was about to be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, driving around, I get it. Hanging out in the Walmart parking lot or whatever.
We'd
And then,
also we'd also go to like there was like a brewery. It was like Cape Cod beer or whatever. And for some reason they like kept all the empty growlers like behind the store. And you could take the growlers and then bring them into the brewery and be like, hey, like my dad wanted me to bring these back. And then you'd get $2 for like every glass growler. So then we'd like get the money, and then like our friend like had his older brother and him like looked like identical basically. So we used his old fake ID, and then we go buy beer. And then if you walked kind of a little bit further back, you could go to the Cape Cod potato chip factory.
wait, the makers of those Cape Cod
Yeah,
chips, they're
yeah,
great.
I know. And in the trash, they would like in the dumpster, they'd have all the like misprinted bags. So it would be like, or the ones that like didn't cut right. I've actually never been in the inside the factory, so I'm not really sure how it works. I don't know if there's like tours or anything, but we'd get these like enormously long tubes of chips that were like uncut. You know what I mean?
Just
You
there,
know what I'm
just
saying?
potato chips, just
Yeah,
sitting
yeah,
there
yeah.
in misprinted bags.
Yeah, so we get those, and then we'd either go to the beach or we'd like wander around in the sand pits, or we'd go to the abandoned Crackle Barrel factory, and we'd like spray paint stuff and like feel cool.
Okay, then at what point do you go from fucking around on your Casio playing I was really reaching for some a violin concerto in my head. Bach, Beethoven,
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Hayden, right?
Yeah.
That's actually one. Okay. To hey, I want to be in a band.
I guess I was like playing with like different people. Like I'd play violin on someone's like song or whatever. Like, and then I guess kind of like with my friend Patrick Tottenham, he was like an older guy in Cape Cod, and I don't exactly remember how I met him, but like there's like there's like this swap shop, like which is like at the dump. You know what the dump is? Like in a small town, like the transfer station for the garbage. You like bring your garbage there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've never visited one, but I know of
Okay.
it.
So the dump in Wellfleet, which is on Cape Cod, and there's a really great swap shop, which is like people who like don't really know what to do with their stuff. They like just want to get rid of it. It's like where I got my first amp. Like it's all free also. So like you can get clothes there, you can get like amplifiers, you can get like just random shit. Like, but I found all these like mixtapes, like all these cassette tapes. And it was like all this like really good shit, like just like that somebody had like handwritten and like made.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, this is so sick. And so I like brought it home, and it turns out it was like this guy Patrick's who has like been in like kind of like the music scene in Cape Cod for like since like the early 90s in this band The Fleece. So we kind of started playing together, and he wanted to get the band back together. Like some of the members like weren't around anymore, so I started playing violin in that band, which was fun. And then I don't know, I was sort of like making my own music that probably wasn't very good. And then like we had this other band, the Blue Dress. I don't know, in Boston, I was like playing violin in like random bands. And then I was in this other like kind of like hardcore-ish, like kind of screamo band, the Western Syndrome. And that's when I met Gorilla Toss, because we were both playing a basement show in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And we were playing on the same bill. And my band was like super crazy and like just insane moshing. And like a pipe broke, like someone grabbed onto a pipe like in the basement, and it like broke. And like water went like spraying like everywhere on this like huge crowd like in the basement. And I was like freaking out that somebody was going to get like electrically like shocked, or just, it was hot water, like I don't know, but everyone was fine. And the equipment and the instruments and the amps were remarkably fine too, which was pretty cool too. But anyways, that was the day that I met Gorilla Toss, because they were in kind of the stage where they didn't have a singer. They had like a scronky saxophone player, Andy Allen. But yeah, I heard the music and I was like, what the hell is this music? And I was like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of punk, but it's also like, it was like way too stiff and like way too jazzy and like kind of like formulated in this way that I thought I was like very much against that. I was like, there's no feeling in this. What is this shit? You know, I just didn't know anything about like that kind of like jazz, like rock, like meets skronky thing.
Right.
But anyways, like long story short, there was like some things that went down in both of our bands where like our bands were not going to exist anymore. So like me and Peter, the drummer of Guerilla, we were just like talking online a lot. And he was like, yeah, you should like jam with us and like sing. And I was like, I have no idea how this is going to work. So like, I think I met them. I feel like we practiced for the first time, maybe like in one of the New England Conservatory practice rooms, like at the school, like in Boston. And yeah, the rest is history. I don't know. I guess like I was living on Cape Cod at the time, so I was like going back and forth a lot, like between Boston and Cape Cod to like go to these rehearsals. Oh, the other funny thing was like I didn't have a license at the time, but Peter trusted me with his car to drive from Cape Cod to Boston. I was probably so bad at driving, but I didn't. I made it, you know.
Well,
and there were,
yes.
Yeah, there was like his car was like this, like a total mess. Like it was like totally fucked.
Oh, that's probably why he didn't care.
It was so gross inside. It was like, I'm like, what is all this stuff?
He's like, what? How could he make this worse? Go ahead.
Yeah. And the only two CDs that were in the car were Rather Ripped by Sonic Youth.
Oh.
And by the Contortions, James Jansen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of like put the whole thing in context. And I was like, okay, this is what the band should be like. You know, because it's like got all that stuff, you know, where I want, you know.
Wait, you made that conscious decision? Like you were just like, this is my vision?
Well, I think he had the vision too, because it was his car, you know. But
and
they were the only
2 CDs.
He was only CDs that wouldn't skip. There was tons of CDs, but they were all like scratched, like on the floor, like mashed in some like blueberry muffin or like sand. Like I don't really know. I don't know. But yeah, I eventually did get my license, but I didn't have it for a while.
Before we go, I'm kind of curious still about what Cape Cod was like when you're growing up. This is what, the 90s?
No. Well,
late 80s. When are you a teen?
I was a teenager in the early 2000s.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You're younger than me. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, lots of like what was it like? What do you like?
I guess, okay, you painted the picture, like there's a lot of like wealthy people vacation there, right?
And we are working all the jobs in the tourists. Yeah. So we work for the tourists, you know, everybody who lives there, basically. You know, you're either like a wait staff or you're like work on like a oyster farm, or you like cohogs or something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Do you see the wealth disparity like in front of your face? Like, I know you say there's like places and you're there helping your mom, but like, I guess the thing I'm trying to figure out, like when I was a kid, I knew people were wealthy, but it didn't connect in my head. Like, I just knew I felt weird around certain people and that they were in houses that were bigger than the one I was in.
No, I didn't realize the wealth disparity until I got into college and I went to Boston. And I realized how like everything is kind of like nepotism. Well, mostly, you know, and like kind of like, yeah, but I had no idea. Like I just had no concept. And now I really know, like, and I'm sure I don't even actually really know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really know until you like went to like a house or like a party, like with a billionaire or something. But I have like a better idea, you know?
Or you type in someone's name in Google and say parents, and then find out that they're some kind of financial, like insurance CEO or something.
Or like you find out somebody has like a trust fund, and I was like, what? Like there's just all this money like for them. Like that's awesome. Good for them, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of had no idea that like people would be like, "Oh, Cape Cod, did you know the Kennedys?" I'm like, no. You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just like a spectrum of people.
Yeah. I guess what I was trying to figure out is, okay, so this is not, that there's wealthy people, but it doesn't quite hit in the same way as when you go to Boston. Like you seem to be like, even when you're going to punk shows and stuff like that, are you still kind of caring for your mom and being the head of the household ish?
Yeah. Managing her emotions and everything. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So that's still like that's a constant throughout, like until you go to Boston, I suppose.
It still is. What? No.
No, I mean, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but I'm not like living with her. Yeah, I guess.
Right.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I guess just like the thing that I am trying to still figure out is like, do you ever get a chance to like catch your breath, or is it really just like you're holding all this stuff together?
Are you asking if I sleep or if I just completely keep my life filled to the brim with activities? So that's what I do.
Right. Oh, so I mean, even today.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're trying to slow down, but everything's so exciting. There's so much to do.
Yeah. So, okay. So it's almost as if like this is basically just based on us talking for an hour. So if I'm off base, please say something. But like, it just seems that like music is like something that's like meaningful in this whole thing. And so that's why you end up going in that direction.
It's like it's like a self-expression thing. It's like a love of all things music. Just, there's so many different types of music, and just like searching and finding and kind of like integrating that into the music that you're writing. And it's just like all one big snowball. That's wonderful. And I like performing. And
yeah,
like,
of course.
It's like fun. It's theatrical. It's like, it's powerful.
Powerful. I like that. But wait, how did you get over the stage fright? Like, how did you like totally get over it?
I haven't even gotten over it. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. So I'm
still dealing with it.
Okay.
But it's like that meditation while you're performing. It's like getting in the zone, like getting locked in, feeling the music. It's like feeling like your band is with you and that like all your energies are together and like driving this kind of like train, a performance. And I think we get better and better at it like every year that we are together. I think the last tour was like felt like the most together it's ever been and like powerful and like locked in and like we were all like on the same page and it just felt like in a way kind of like a family unit that was like really functional and just kind of like everyone was supporting each other, and like not overly taking care of each other but just kind of like existing together and like making this really cool art form. And like traveling around the country together and like seeing really cool shit and meeting really, really nice people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Of
what
course.
A delight. It was just great talking to you.
Yeah, call me anytime.
You may not want that. Like suddenly I'm texting you like, hey, check out this cool meme. And you're like, oh, I should not have said that to him.
Sounds fun.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, oh, 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 bye.